And that way, Gary, you come in.
Good afternoon, good evening, keepers of the cash. Gary B, the casual comic guy here, and I am joined tonight with one Mr. Chip Gettler, somewhere down there. Kenny Caps below, and our special guest of the night is Mikhail from Geekspot Comics, or just Geekspot, I guess. And we're really glad to have him on the show. Me especially. He is from Rochester, where I'm from, so we even meet up at the same comic shop here and there. And we've sort of developed a friendship. First, we met on YouTube, and then we figured out we were both local here and carried it on from there. Before we go over to Mikhail, let's shout out the chat. Ruby G, the bearded Avenger himself, always here. How you doing, Ruby G? Chop and Drop, thank you for the support always, buddy. You're super appreciated. Jarhead Basement, thank you very much for joining us. We got Joe from Anachronic Comics. Joe, nice to see you, buddy. We got Rob sliding on over from his Fat Stacks and Superwall. Rob, thank you very much, bud. Nice to see you. And tonight, like I said, we got Geekspot Comics in the house. So, Kale, why don't you give a quick introduction of who you are and what your channel's about, and then we'll get it going from there, buddy.
All right. I'm Kale. Like the vegetable, but not as bitter. Go by Geekspot. Don't ask me why. It was the name I always wanted to call my comic shop when I was a kid. Channel was, in its inception, was created to highlight my collection and kind of spend time with my kids, going through my comic books, and document the books I have and my kids and just our journey as nerds and collectors. And it's been fabulous so far.
Now, does your wife collect too?
She does collect, not comic books. She runs a pretty successful Bookstagram page. You can find her at Book Dashley. But yeah, she puts all my follower counts to shame. I think she's 11,000 plus.
Sweet Jesus.
Yeah.
Nice.
She puts all of us to shame.
Wait, so what is it that she actually has a channel on?
Yeah, so she takes pictures of books. That's it.
She takes pictures of books.
She reviews them. She's gotten to the point now where companies and authors will send her books to review, and she loves it. So
that's awesome.
What's the
That's
genre?
cool.
Nonfiction?
No, actually, she does young adult fantasy mostly.
Huh.
So
Well, that's a good niche to be in.
Why isn't she on this channel instead of you? What the hell?
I've guest spot on hers a couple times, but she has no desire to hop on with comic books.
Oh yeah, no, that's funny. I was just messing with you, but that's awesome.
Can't
That's
afford
great.
to have his wife on his own show. She's too high level
Out of
now.
my price
Wow.
range.
She's
Right.
like, you're just small potatoes.
Very much so.
Well, good. So you also too have a military background, right, Kale?
I do. I was in the Marine Corps for just under 10 years.
Nice.
Wow.
And now, were you collecting while you were in the military too, or did the military get you into collecting, or were you a collector before that?
I collected as a kid. My brother and I used to go to Grand Slam Comics in Fort Worth, Texas. And that's the comic shop that got me hooked on Evil Ernie, way younger than I probably should have been. But it has since closed, and my collection just kind of sat there while I was in the service. And at one point, I'd gotten injured and spent a good amount of time away from people and kind of redeveloped my love of comic books and got back into it.
So
When did that
Evil Ernie
happen?
was your
I think,
gateway
how
into
long is that?
comics? Oh, sorry, Chip.
No, go ahead, Gary. Go ahead. I was just asking, when did that start happening back where you started jumping back in again? How long ago was that?
When did you get out of the dark ages?
Yeah. I'd say 2006, 2007 is when I started going pretty heavy back into it. And that lasted a good while. And then I had an awesome house fire here in Rochester in 2016 and lost my entire collection and started over
Oof.
from there.
Wow. Ouch.
So-
What's the one comic book from that collection that you dearly miss? And were you able to get it back, or are you still looking for it?
Well, I'll tell you the book, and you can tell me if I can afford to get it back. How about that?
Okay.
My grandfather gave me a Hulk 180 and 181 set.
Yeah.
So the ones that are over the left of your shoulder, Kenny,
Yeah.
fourth from the bottom.
Yeah, just go ahead and package those up and send them on
Just
over.
pack those up and
Sure,
send them
man.
on. You know, it's a
Yeah, I'll send you a Hulk 180.
But yeah, I lost those. That was a big hit.
Ouch.
Yeah, that sounds like it. Sorry, man.
Man.
Oh,
Fires are devastating. I'm sorry to hear that.
no, you're fine. I've bounced back happily. It's just paper, right? So it's more about the memories and the fact that my grandfather passed it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had sentimental value to you.
Exactly. But that's why I'm doing the channel now, and we're documenting it and spending that time with the kids so they have the same memories and they don't have to feel bad if they lose one.
So basically, though, your whole family's collected always, or because it sounds like your grandfather collected as well.
Yeah, I think it's just kind of been born into us. I don't know that my parents collected anything other than cattle. We had a small cattle ranch, so they were too busy to do anything else.
Right? Too tired by the end of the day, huh?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, anyone that's watched your channel too, they see Scarisar on there. Scarisar on there like quite a bit.
Yep.
Talk about your daughter joining you on your channel and where she got her nickname from.
So Skarsar the dinosaur, full name Scarlet, and when she was younger, she was absolutely in love with dinosaurs. So, I just started calling her Skarsar the dinosaur, and to this day, she's 13, and she's not too cool to still go by that nickname. And she still collects little dinosaur figures and stuffed animals, and she loves it. So she came to me. I've never been one to push my hobbies on them. If they want to do something, they're more than welcome, but it's never been forced. And she came to me and said, "Hey, can I be in one of your videos, Dad?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that'd be great." And when you know, she's better at it than I am. So
I was gonna say she's very, very personable on the camera. Just
She is.
the way she interacts with you,
She's a
and
smart kid.
My daughter's like that too. Like she grew up. Like my daughter's 8, and she grew up on YouTube, and so she's a natural. Like she'll just come up and be like, "Hi, welcome to Ashley." She's got her own channel too. She's got like 20 subscribers. She's like, "Hi, welcome to Ashley's Awesome Toys. I'm Ashley. Welcome to my show." It just goes like I'm like, how? Like I don't understand. Like some people are born with it. Some people learn it on the streets. I think she was born with it.
yeah,
Well, I think this generation too, they grew up with YouTube. It's nothing new to them. Like we grew up with cable TV. Like, we're growing up, cable was the big thing. Oh, I got cable, yay. And
I
now
got
haven't had
MTV.
cable in like 20
MTV.
years because I just don't watch anything.
Yeah, my 5-year-old Leyland actually just asked me if he could start his own toy channel.
oh, that's
nice.
awesome.
We're debating
You're going to
what
be
that
busy,
means for our
Jay.
family,
Yeah.
but he
Now,
loves
does
it.
your wife help you manage the kids' channels?
No. She has her bookstagram, and everything else is going to be up to me. So she even has an Instagram, or not an Instagram, a YouTube channel that has been severely neglected because I'm too busy managing my own channel and then helping out with my second channel, Jarhead Basement. So
Now, tell us about Jarhead Basement for a minute.
yeah, so that was me and a couple of my military buddies, from when I was in the Marine Corps. We got together and we were talking movies, as you do in the military. I'm sure any other fellow veteran would say the same. You get stuck on duty a couple days in a row and you just binge watch as much content as you can.
Yeah.
I don't know a single veteran that hasn't seen like every movie ever made.
How many times you watch Black Hawk Down?
Oh my gosh. We actually just watched that like 3 days ago. That's hilarious. You brought that one up.
I'm telling you, that was force fed to us, man. Like in basic, like we were spoon fed that and like Full Metal Jacket. Like
Full Metal
we were
Jacket,
just
yep.
like there's like you have like 5 minutes. like the drill sergeant's got to go take a shit. You're gonna go sit. You're gonna watch this movie for 5 to 10 to an hour. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the biggest difference I'm hearing here is in Army boot camp, you guys got to watch movies.
It was no, that happened like one time, but in AIT, I don't know what the Marine equivalent of AIT is.
That's like your training school.
Yeah.
That's where you get your MOS. Yeah. But yeah, in AIT, that's when we had like these Mendo like indoctrination movie times. Like, look, he's wow, God, I can't remember his name. It's not Heath Ledger. It's the guy with the eyebrows. He's so sad all the time. But he's in Black Hawk Down, and it's like we got to watch this movie because this is important.
You talking about Josh Hartnett?
Yes, thank you. Oh my God, I can't believe I forgot his name.
Yeah, no, that's a great one. Definitely being in the Marine Corps, ours was Jarhead or Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah.
Now, so being in the military though, it doesn't really turn you guys off from military movies.
I won't watch them now.
Really?
Yeah, like Hurt Locker, from On Up. Like there was the one with Bradley Cooper. He's a sniper. I won't watch it. I can't watch. I have a hard time watching old. I have PTSD, and I don't watch that kind of stuff. Not anymore.
Yeah. I can see what you're saying. I have a hard time. The closer to real it gets, the harder it is to watch.
The older stuff is different. Like Saving Private Ryan. I mean, because nothing like I experienced.
Right.
Nobody experienced D-Day, Normandy Beach. Right. Yeah. So it's different, right? But no, I don't watch the new stuff.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I must say that is probably my favorite opening to a movie ever, though, is that first initial getting onto that beach for that Saving Private Ryan. Beyond that, the rest of the movie was kind of like, okay. But that actual getting on, it was like, holy shit. That was amazing.
Yeah, we did a whole series on Jarhead Banishment where Casey, my co-host, and I went back and forth naming our top 5 military movies or war movies. Mm-hmm. And we talked about Tigerland with Colin Farrell from Vietnam and Casualties of War with Michael J. Fox. So, but I appreciate the acting in the new ones and a lot of the realism, but they are hard to watch. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And I never understood that. Like I had when I grew up, like I don't know if you remember this. Platoon was like a really awesome Vietnam show. Yeah. And I used to watch that. I used to love this dude Baker. Like I wanted to be like the twins, like because he was awesome, and I loved that show. And I never understood why like my uncles wouldn't watch it, But totally get that today,
Yeah.
I've
had some of those same instances with like my wife likes to watch SEAL Team because she says that David Boreanaz has aged well. But there's been a couple of scenes, especially when it's the guys on the show dealing with their PTSD, that hit really, really close to home, and it makes it real hard to watch at all.
So has she been following David Boreanaz since his Angel days then?
No, I actually introduced her to Buffy and Angel, but she had watched Bones and loved that series.
Yeah, Bones is awesome.
Yeah, Bones.
I mean, the guy's been on
the same way
for most of our lives at this point. Like
he has, and he got discovered walking his dog.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, he walks as a mean dog, so.
But so she went back and watched Buffy and Angel, and that was her comment. She said, "I'm not attracted to Brad Pitt or anybody like that, but David Boreanaz has really aged well." Like, yeah.
So he's the free pass.
Exactly. Like, so is Margot Robbie.
Yeah. Margot Robbie's the hall pass. And
She's
there's
something special about her.
Suicide Squad movie. Did you watch that, Kale?
I did. I made the mistake of trying to watch it with Skarzar. And he immediately kicked her out of the room.
Yeah. My daughter is a big Harley Quinn fan, but she has seen none of the DC movies with Margot Robbie. Like, because she has watched the like DC superhero girls, Does Scarzar watch those too? Like, is that something that she's been interested in?
She doesn't watch those. My younger two were literally watching that upstairs when I came down here to start filming with you guys.
So, did you get to the scene where his face got shot off? You're like, oh, you got to go.
Yeah, actually, that was the scene.
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's rough. It's rough. It's definitely a James Gunn movie. I can say that.
Oh yeah, I mean, if it's got James Gunn on it, and it's got an R rating, it's probably not safe for children.
No.
So I was talking to Casey about it because he's my normal bounce movie ideas and movie stuff off of partner, and I was telling him about I forget the name of it again, but the one with Rainn Wilson and
it's like Shut Up Crime.
Yeah,
Super, right?
Super, yes.
Yeah. I've seen that. Yeah, with Ellen Page before.
Yeah, it felt like that all over again, where it was just brutal to be brutal in some parts. But I think John Cena was the best part of the movie for me, especially in the middle of the movie.
We're gonna have to disagree on that.
Really? He brought the. I mean,
well, first of all, I'm not disagreeing that John Cena wasn't good. He was really good in it. But the character that stood out to me was Ratcatcher. Like, man, I was like the relationship with her and Idris Elba, Bloodsport was amazing. And I was just totally invested in her character. I thought that actress was just the highlight of the movie.
That's fair. She definitely brought some heart to that movie. For me, I was looking for the levity, and that's what John Cena definitely brought.
You had the weasel at the end for that, right?
Yeah.
That was the creepiest character model I think I've seen in a movie in a long time.
It was crazy.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah.
I just haven't
I
had
don't want
the
to give
chance.
anything away now.
Right?
No, it's fun. Like,
The competition that Cena and Idris Elba have was phenomenal, especially in the middle of the movie when they're seeing who can do their job the best.
Right. Oh, and Idris Elba just kills it in every single
He's good in
role.
everything.
He's
He's
amazing.
good in everything, yeah.
Awesome.
How does he
I would
not
watch
have,
him
like,
cut
a
grass.
mantle of
Like,
Oscar?
seriously, just with a push more. Like, yeah, good job, man.
I really like that movie he did with Kate Winslet too, when they were stranded in the mountain. That was pretty Cold Mountain or whatever it was called. That was pretty good.
Like the plane goes down and they're stranded and they got to get back. Cold Mountain's not the name of that one. That's like
Kidman,
a Civil War movie, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
With like Natalie Portman and Tom Cruise's ex, Nicole Kidman.
Yeah, and Jude Law. Yeah. I can't think of it though. I know which one you're talking about. I don't remember the name of it.
It's not Titanic.
Someone in the chat. What is that movie? Damn it!
Sorry, I cracked myself up.
Now,
Pay me like one of your French girls, Idris.
Kale, you not only collect comics, but you also let's talk a little bit about other things you collect, like custom figures and how you got into those, and then we'll talk about Magic.
Dude, I used to have that toy.
So these aren't the customs, but these are a couple of. These are my two favorite toys as a kid. This is Brave Star.
Yeah, Brave Star.
Marshall from Texas and Captain Power.
I didn't even know they made a Brave Star action figure.
Yeah, I used to have that Brave Star. I couldn't remember his name, but yeah, he was awesome.
Brave Star, his horse 3030. Tex Hex was the bad guy. And then I grabbed my newest acquisition for my Hero Academia collection.
Nice.
Very cool.
Yeah. From
The
Rhino.
little stand is nice that they come on, so they can be in the pose that they want them.
Exactly. But so I got into bootleg toys and custom toys through a friend of mine in Nashville who was in the Army. And I'm trying to think. You've got Boss Fight Studios. You've got the whole Mego rework now that people are falling back in love with. I actually have an Airboy Mego figure coming that I'm insanely excited about. So
now you gave me some of those Boss Fight Studio figures, and those things are nice, man. And the accessories are great.
Yeah. So they're the 3 3/4 inch GI Joe size from the 1980s, at least when I was a kid, and they did like mythological creatures and knights, and they've even bought some properties now. So there's a Zorro and Flash Gordon, Tarzan. I think they just got the license to do on Umbrella Academy in that
Actually,
size.
I'd be curious about that Flash Gordon.
And I think they just did Popeye too. So,
yes, they did do Popeye because I was telling Ken at the shop about it because he's a big Popeye head.
Yeah, exactly. They're a great toy line and super responsive. Anytime I've had an issue or a question, they're super fast to get back to me. Great company. So if you're not checking them out yet, definitely check out Boss Fight Studios. They got some fun stuff. And I think they've got their next line of like the fantasy series about to push out too.
Now, what are you doing with those? Are you like making magic characters out of the ones you buy, or are you doing other genres
Yeah, right now
doing something with them?
Yeah, so some of the ones that are pre-built, I just kind of have a little diorama in my collector case off to my left here. And then the blank, they have some figures that are completely blank, and we're trying to make our D&D characters come to life with them. That way we're not using the little resin figures. We have a nice 3 3/4 inch G.I. Joe size figure to plow through gelatinous cubes and kobolds.
Now, so you're a big fantasy fan, obviously, especially with D&D and Magic the Gathering. What is it about fantasy that always spoke to you? Is it just like a break from having to deal with
But we're not done talking about toys.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kenny.
No. Go. You can go ahead and do your Magic, but I want to talk about He-Man and superpowers and stuff like that. Anyway.
Oh, I'm so with the fantasy stuff, it's the escape. I grown up on a cattle farm. I didn't want to deal with the cattle all day, so it was pretty easy to find an escape in a fantasy book. And then, after serving in the military, you just want something to take your mind off of everything else. So what better way than to get lost in a good book or a good movie? Sometimes not even a good movie, just a movie will do. That's kind of where it was at. And actually, you got me turned on to the next, turned to the next level with it. You kind of reintroduced me to Conan and Red Sonja, Gary. So I've gone.
That's my fantasy.
Another one.
He had me hooked, and I've gone way too hard in the paint on those.
Nice. Hey, I'm happy to hear it. The channel's working on somebody at least.
I completely agree with you, Kel, because my future in Alabama consisted of, so my dad was a welder and he worked on log trucks. Like his job was like repairing log truck trailers. And that was a lot of that. Like, so everything is centered in Southern Alabama around the logging industry, whether you're at the paper mill or you're doing some other job that corresponds to that cog in the machine. And I didn't want any part of that, And comic books were totally escapist for me. Like, I just wanted to get out. And thank God for the military because it did that for me. But so like that was me in comic books growing up. And if it wasn't comic books, it was toys, right? So I mentioned superpowers. Superpowers were such a big thing for me, because not only do you have them in a comic book, now I can actually touch it, Yeah, and so He-Man was the same way. Like He-Man was everywhere. And I don't know how bad it was in Texas in the 80s and stuff, but in Alabama, the satanic panic was just nuts. So I remember my mom saying who would win in a fight, He-Man or Jesus? Luckily, I was smart enough to say Jesus because I knew that He-Man would have been taken away from me. Toys were such a big part of my childhood. That's the dumbest thing I think I've ever said. It's the biggest duh. It's like saying
why?
Mayonnaise is a big part of a BLT.
There's nothing wrong with that,
No, I agree. And I have a great memory of holding the superpowers figures on my bike because they had the fabric capes so they would flap in the wind and then totally wiping out because of it. I think on my Instagram page, I posted when my son got into He-Man, I posted, I think it was my 4th or 5th birthday, my parents had bought the entire He-Man line. So I had Castle Grayskull, I had all the stuff. Wow. Of course, I was a kid and I destroyed it playing with it, I think I still have a Hodak figure in my cabinet here. But
man, I can see you and Kenny running around going, "I have the power."
Yeah.
oh,
What about G.I. Joe? Did you play with that stuff when you were a kid?
so GI Joe was my favorite top of the line. I still have 80% of my collection, and I have almost the entire new set of the 6-inch declassified figures. I love GI Joe. Yeah,
Yeah, I was a huge G.I. Joe fan, and like, what's nuts is I went to the beach one time. It was Gulf Shores. We're at the state park, and this kid rolls by, and he's like, "Hey, let's play G.I. Joe's." He's like, "Have you ever taken a screwdriver and undid the back and then swapped their legs and arms around?" And I was like, "No, I never did that." So I went home and destroyed, every one of my G.I. Joes. I mixed them up in different ways. I never got them back. Half of the rubber bands broke. And eventually my mom was like, "You're going to regret doing this." I'm like, "You don't know shit, Mom." But then,
exactly.
it was horrible. I destroyed my entire G.I. Joe collection. And the only thing I have left over are the vehicles. I've got a USS Flag.
Oh, wow.
And but it's up in the attic, put away, because I don't have the figures to play with it.
Oh,
So, you go find that guy and kick his ass for telling you that?
I know. If I ever see that little shit again, I swear to God. Well, he's probably an adult now, unless he died.
I think we can ban taken. But no, I still have. I think I have the adverse. I have most of my figures, not so many vehicles. We might be able to work something out here, Kenny.
Sure.
But ironically, ours was we would use a water hose and make like the pressure hole in the ground near a cottonwood tree where I grew up. And to this day, if you go digging around that cottonwood tree, you're going to get bits and pieces of G.I. Joes just randomly. So,
and that's the thing too. Like back then, those toys with the bands and stuff in them, if you mess that up, that toy was done.
Yeah, toast.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I remember those things too. Oh,
I have a couple that are Frankenstein together from when I was a kid that I was like, "Oh, let's put this leg with this arm." So I totally get that.
So what's the prize toy of your collection then, Kale?
The prize toy of my collection?
What's your Grail toy you got at home?
Oh man, I didn't grab it. I should have. So my wife actually surprised me and bought me a G.I. Joe me in my camouflage utilities.
Wow.
With my name. It has my tattoos.
Oh, that's awesome.
Code name is Geek. I was so in love with this thing, and the mailman dropped it off, and it rained, and the dog ripped open the package, so the backing board is destroyed, but I still have the figure and all the contents that were in the blister pack. But he is put up in my display cabinet here. I didn't grab him, but I wish I would have now. But I'll post them on my Instagram later for everybody to check out. Because
awesome.
I
couldn't agree more with Rob. Those Star Wars toys, the Kenner Star Wars toys, they took a beating, and they're still, you can't tell any difference.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Well, Kenner had the toys on lockdown.
Yeah, Kenner was awesome.
So, along with the toys, though, besides that, you're big into Magic, you're big into D&D. What got you into that too? Was that just another need to escape from reality stuff, or did it just feed in once you started getting into the reading, and all of a sudden it was just the next evolution?
So the Magic the Gathering stuff started again. I spent some time kind of unable to go out and play sports anymore. So some of the guys that I was stationed with, that I would make fun of for doing it, stopped by and were like, "Hey, you want to play Magic? We'll teach you how." And I was like, "I got nothing else to do," and that was all it took. I was hooked. So I started playing with those guys, and then that's arguably the number one game I play now. I'm looking at my collection over here on the wall. That carried over into like Zombicide and Gloomhaven. I've got a ton of these games over here. And then it was only recently that I really got into the D&D stuff, because I had a group of friends here in Rochester that threw me a D&D birthday party. I'd never played, so they put a whole campaign together centered around my birthday. It was such a cool experience. So
what's funny is that like fantasy football. So Yeah, fantasy football is Dungeons and Dragons for guys who used to beat up people for playing Dungeons and Dragons.
It's D&D for jocks. Yeah,
I know, right?
Yeah,
It's the
exactly.
same thing. I was never allowed to play that because it was the devil. So seriously, like I was forbidden from playing because there was a kid in my mom's college that died from playing Dungeons and Dragons somehow. Yeah, my childhood was
laugh
crazy.
at you.
Yeah, it's just like Adam Sandler. I know.
It's funny, when I was in the military, D&D there was 4 or 5 guys that would just play D&D. They'd hit in their, bunk and they'd just play, and they would spend the whole weekend playing. And I'd be like, what the hell are you people doing? What, this is insane. You're supposed to be out drinking. You're in Germany, party. And they're just playing D&D. Up until I've never played it up until this past February. My nephew, who's turned 21 on his 21st birthday, decided he wanted to have a D&D party. So we everybody did the whole D&D. I signed up online. I, did this whole, rolling of the dice from online and everything. And it was interesting. It was pretty, I was hooked at that point. I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. I could do this again. So I could see the attraction of, the fantasy portion of it. I'm not quite good at it, but yeah. So it's kind of neat though.
I stumbled on a show too that kind of helped fuel that fire. I don't know if any of you have watched it, but it was called Harmon's Quest. And
never heard of it.
Oh my gosh. YouTube it, go look it up. It is hilarious. It's the same people that did Rick and Morty playing D&D and animating it.
I love that show.
Yeah.
I've never played D&D in my life.
Well, buddy, I think we might have just came up with an idea for another channel.
There you go. Yeah. So from what I understand, you do the magic, but are you also getting custom made cards?
Oh yes.
That's a thing?
It is a thing. I didn't know it was a thing that you customize these cards.
I know nothing about the card games for these fantasies or I don't know anything about the role playing stuff.
Is it gonna blur?
There you go.
So this was a custom I had done it's a cheap card by a fellow Instagrammer. Her name's Is It Star or Star Is It?
Yeah, Star Is
It.
So if you can make your own cards, can you just make the most powerful card ever? Like this is the God card.
You could, but would your friends and playgroup allow you to play it is the bigger question.
Well screw them. Because you have the God card. You don't need anything else.
I don't need.
That was my question. Like on the back of it, is it like pre-printed on the back and then the front's just a blank cover? So whatever it is on the back is the actual card.
Yeah, so for this one, I'm trying to take it out of my little protective case. So she actually hand paints over the existing card. So it is. So they're both True Blue Magic the Gathering cards.
Okay.
And she literally just hand paints over the existing picture whatever back. You wanted. And she's actually doing a couple of comic book covers for the new Magic the Gathering series from Boom.
Oh, wow.
For me.
And how have you been enjoying that?
I love it, but I'm wrapped up in the lore and everything else that goes along with being a Magic player now. So,
yeah. How long you been playing Magic?
Since probably 2007, 2008.
Really?
Yeah.
And we just found out the last time I was on interviewing someone. I forgot who he is. Dang, but mine just went blank. But he was a professional Magic player. He was on like a professional circuit thing playing.
Oh wow!
Who was that we interviewed, Gary?
I'm trying to remember too.
It's Justin.
Lou Ferrigno?
No. Oh yes, No Good Comics.
No Good Comics.
Yes.
Was a professional. Yeah, he's got a YouTube video of him playing in a competition and winning, and yeah, I was like, holy crap, that was cool.
I'm nowhere that close to being good. I've got a group of friends, we play and we do stupid stuff and we just make each other laugh. So
you know what it was is I saw the cards, but it always seemed too intimidating to take the time to learn it, so I never did.
I'll spin you up, Gary. We'll get you playing in no time. You'll have 37 commander decks just like me and be even more poor than you already are.
I was going to say, I don't need anything else to spend money on.
It's a disease, Gary.
But you could play with your friends and family.
Right?
I've got my neighbor now hooked. He's built 3 or 4 decks in the last 2 months, just so we can hang out and play.
Yeah. So are you one of these guys hitting up the Walmart and trying to get those cards and buying the packs and packs and packs and opening them? And
no, every set that comes out, I do an unboxing for the channel. I just go to my local card shop and I do a pre-order and open what I get, and what I get is what I get. And that's what I use to build my decks. I don't typically go buy, the best card for the moment. I just build it with the best cards I have.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That's a good idea. Yeah. Because I see a lot of people go out there with the Pokemon and they'll be like collecting, getting these big, huge, I'm going to spend because this has a better card than these pack and that pack. And it's like, really? And then they come back with basically not much.
Yeah. And some of those old Magic cards too, they're pretty pricey up there.
Yeah. I have a friend that sold a couple of Black Lotus, which anybody who plays Magic knows exactly what that card is, but sold 2 or 3 of them and paid for the down payment of his house.
Wow.
That's
Holy crap.
Yeah, it was,
very cool.
Those are big
I don't know
name
anything
cards.
about Magic the Gathering, so comic books is my thing.
Yeah,
but that's
go on eBay. Go on eBay later and just look up Black Lotus.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious. I never even heard of it. So, what makes it so valuable?
Just like comics, the rarity, the print run, the condition.
Oh, okay.
It's really no different than comic book collecting.
Now, have you graded any of your cards?
No.
Is that a thing? Can you grade them?
You can. Same companies, CGC, if you want to wait 3 years.
Yeah.
But Beckett will do it as well. I don't think they take as long, but just like most of my comics, I want to read them. I want to touch them. I feel that way with my cards. I want to play with them. I want to use them. I want to enjoy them.
Yeah.
So
same way. So also, from what I understand, you're also a gamer. Video games. What are you playing lately? What have you been playing? I'm going to throw back. I've been getting re-caught up on Far Cry in anticipation for the new one coming out. Yep. That got a new one coming out. Yep.
With Esposito, and it looks phenomenal. So
yeah.
Who doesn't want to take down a drug lord in South America?
Exactly.
But I'm Apex again.
I forced myself to stay away from Apex and Fortnite and all of those. I spent years in Destiny, and I can't allow myself to do that anymore.
I did that with the first Destiny. I put over 600 hours in.
Yeah.
And then I knew that I had put too much time into it because they used to send you emails. And I got an email from them with my accomplishments, and I made the 1% in the world for kills. I go, oh, it's time to stop playing.
So here he goes out while he's on top.
That's it.
I didn't even touch Destiny 2. I was like, I was good after that.
I played quite a bit of Destiny 2, but I eventually had to walk away as well. I just couldn't keep up because it's every day. It's the next thing. It's the next raid.
It's the next chase.
Yeah. The next exotic weapon. So
well, and that was the tough build in their system. And then if you wanted to do stuff, you had to have a good raid team together too to even have a chance at the drop rate of those weapons.
Exactly.
Remember the Gallahorn? I don't know how many raids I played. I must have played 30 raids before one even dropped for me.
Yeah. You had to have it to take down Crota though.
Right, but then as soon as I got it, that's when they debuffed it. Of course. Yeah, and then I'm like, well, it's useless now.
Yeah, I was definitely my play group's Leroy Jenkins.
I have a PlayStation too.
That's a good system.
And I bought that just to play Guitar Hero, which, by the way, I was pretty awesome at.
Yeah, I love some Guitar Hero back in the day.
See, this is the thing. Like, I get on these shows with Gary, and Gary starts talking about this. So it's like, I don't know anything about anything. I know, like, stuff about old comic books, but that's it. It's so, yeah. Guitar Hero was fun.
You know, toys.
Modern day Steve Rogers don't know anything about our current stuff.
Yeah.
And it looks like I've been having some internet problems, so obviously I might still be fading in and out here for some reason.
You have?
So
as far as I know, you've been fine.
Not having them.
You've been fine. far as we can tell.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you normally are fading in and out in general,
Right.
But
well, because I went offline there while he was talking about something. Luckily, no one pays attention to this ugly mug, so it looks like it went unnoticed. So now you're also a big supporter of Kickstarters, Kel. You want to talk about some of the ones that you're really into and what draws you to the Kickstarter market?
I'm going to have bad etiquette and pull up my Kickstarter right now so I can tell you what I'm currently backing. I apologize. Let's see.
You're fine. I just know that's a big part of your collecting.
It is. I enjoy helping people launch, and for a time, and it's still technically going. I kind of started a consulting business to help comic book creators get their books out there. Gary, you've got Low Daniels. I know you have a copy of it. So that was one I was very proud to help get out there. What else did I help? We helped with Black Moss Comics, got the first couple of his out and running. Advanced Genetics, we helped get the first issue out. But I'm currently backing Captain Midnight, the 100-page giant super spectacular. I'm backing the new Lady Death Sacrificial Annihilation, and the Baboon, Skull of a King, which is a pulp action adventure comic. So those are my three that I'm doing currently on Kickstarter.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Guys, I actually jumped into Kickstarter with Duplicants. With Carla. I can't remember her name.
Carla Nappy.
Carla Nappy, yeah. So and it's been awesome. And that one, and then it was Bloom. Bloom.
And Duplicants, great.
Yeah, Duplicants is awesome. Yeah. So, it's interesting to kind of help them go to the next step and help them move forward in their experience. You know, they're like,
and there's so much talent out there, and there's just, these companies can only find so many people, and there's so much talent.
Yeah. Well, so one of my favorites that I've done recently, I haven't got the rewards yet, but it was called Good Boy, Old Dog. And it's basically, what if John Wick was a dog and his human was killed?
Really?
And the artist that was working on Stray Dogs did sketch covers for the Kickstarter.
Trish Fortuner.
Yeah, so I was like 100% in as soon as I saw that, because A, I love her art style, and B, the stuff she did on Stray Dogs was amazing. And this was
John Wick is awesome.
Yeah,
exactly. So, it was just a no-brainer to back.
And I know they're starting up 4 soon, and I really hope that we're going to get that series they were talking about, because they're talking about doing a series about the Continental, set in the John Wick universe.
Oh, nice!
Because the Continental is just such a cool concept in those movies.
Yeah. Well, I just wish Ian McShane said that one word he used to say on Deadwood all the time, but he never says it on John Wick. I don't know if you can say that word on this show. We'll just not say it.
I'm sorry.
You can say it on my show. Next time you need to say it, let me know.
Oh yeah, I don't care. I don't care if you swear, Ken.
You can come on my show and cuss all you
I don't know how.
care.
There may be children at this time of night watching this show, and they don't want to hear that Deadwood word from Ian McShane.
Right. I mean, what's a black mark on the show? That's all, buddy.
But yeah, I love John Wick, and I'll have to check that out. I love Trish Fortuner too. She's amazing, super nice. Yeah, that's
so
cool.
The Kickstarter was looking for $9,000. It made $46,000 off 705 backers.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That's insane.
Yeah, Good Boy, Old Dog. So in the tier I did, you got the first 3 issues included, so it was a no-brainer.
Now, we haven't talked as much about comics yet, and you said Evil Ernie was a big one for you.
Yeah.
But what are the hot books for you now? Like, what's really hitting it for you in the current runs, rather it's Indies, Marvel, DC, or a little bit of everything?
Current runs?
To you, yeah.
Current runs, I'm really liking the Batman Urban Legends, mostly because it had Grifter in some of the stories. And Gary, you know I'm a big Grifter fan.
I do. It was Humble Image starting days.
Exactly. What else am I liking? The Joker series I've really enjoyed so far. That's really it. I've actually kind of regressed and started going backwards in my collecting. I've been picking up Space Ghost.
Oh, nice.
Space
very
Ghost.
cool. That's
And
awesome.
some more classic Airboy books.
You know what's funny is I've started grabbing more Bronze Age now too, and got away from some of the moderns.
Yeah. Not that they're bad. It's just I don't know if it's me getting older, getting nostalgic, or what. But some of that stuff I loved as a kid. You know, the Phantom, Rocketeer, Space
those are
Ghost.
great books.
Spectre. Yep.
So
I've just been
how
way more.
excited
drawn
were
to
you when that Phantom movie first got announced with Billy Zane back in the day?
To be fair, that was kind of my introduction to the character.
Was it?
Yeah,
Same
yeah.
here.
That movie is.
I
a
hated
guilty
Billy
pleasure
Zane, but
movie.
I love that. I'm a big
I do
Christy
too.
Watson fan.
Well,
F you, Zane.
Yeah, put a cork in it, Zane.
and they embraced it. They embraced that movie with the costume, and they just went for it. It was fun with no budget.
And
Exactly.
Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Oh, yeah. My kids have been enjoying it. We went back and we watched Dick Tracy. We watched Rocketeer. We watched The Phantom, The Shadow,
The Shadow's
Zorro.
good too with Alec Baldwin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those are great
Yeah.
movies.
And there's just something about that time piece, at least for me, that I'm just stuck there, I think.
Yeah, early
So-
90s. Yeah, great time.
So if it's not those, it's, Bloodsport and all the bad action movies from the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, any horror movie ever, I'm always in for. So
Oh yeah. You know I love horror. Plus, also any cheesy sword and sorcery movie.
Oh,
I
yeah.
remember watching Dragon
Willow.
Slayer a lot back in the day. Obviously, the Conan movies, Beastmaster, which I still can't watch with my kid because of Tony Roberts.
Do you remember Kroll? Kroll was
Yeah,
another great movie.
I love Krull. I own it.
Kevin
I own it
Sorbo.
all over the place. Oh, Cull. No, that's Cull. He's talking
Oh,
about
yeah.
Cull with the glaze.
It's the big huge ninja star, and you can throw it.
Yeah.
I love the glaze, but you never got. And they always bothered me though because they never gave you like a nice clear shot of the beast. You know,
Right.
I wanted- And a very young Liam Neeson in that, and also Robbie Coltrane, who got famous in Harry Potter for being Hagrid.
Huh.
They were part of the Bandits. That's a.
More
You
you
never
know.
saw that one, Kale?
What's that?
You never saw Krull?
I own it.
Oh, okay.
I just misheard him when he said. I thought he said call.
Well,
But,
and you know what's funny
That's a
about
simple
that?
mistake.
Right,
Yeah.
that Cull movie was actually the script that they switched it around a little. That was supposed to be the third Conan movie when he
Yep.
became king, and they swapped it around to make it a Cull movie. So little useless Conan knowledge there, guys. Grew up on here we go, Jarhead Basement. Grew up on Phantom 2049 before the zaniness. Those are my recent comic pickups: Midnight Shadow, Green Hornet, Dick Tracy, Flash Gordon, Buck Rogers.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. This is such a golden time for creativity. There's so many good writers. There's so many good artists. Why is no one reviving Flash Gordon and Buck Rogers? You know, Green Hornet's still out there with Dynamite. But you have so many great properties. How about the Man of Bronze, you know?
Yep.
Doc Savage. Why isn't someone doing Doc Savage? You have all these great characters that are just getting lost in obscurity that the right team could just bring back with a vengeance and just make great again. So let's go with that for you. What would be a character you'd love to see get resurrected in this day and age with the writers we have, the artists we have, and also be made into a movie with the technology we have these days?
Oh man, I'd have to say I'd love a really great G.I. Joe movie. No, that's not it.
I just watched the first one last night with
The Wayans or Marlon Wayans.
No, it's with Marlon Wayans. I'm trying to remember the white dude. Oh shit, from 21 Jump Street. I'm blanking.
Channing Tatum.
Johnny.
Yeah, my brain is just completely destroyed over it yesterday. But yeah,
Well, Snake Eyes is out too right now, right?
yeah, Snake
Yeah.
Eyes just came out.
Snake
Yeah,
Eyes. Yep.
I haven't seen it yet, but for me, I'd really love to see a really good Rocketeer. Not that the one Disney made wasn't good, but I think it could just be so much more if they leaned into what it was meant to be. I think that's my final answer on that.
Yeah, and what a classic costume design too. Like that design is amazing for the Rocketeer.
Some minor updates without going over the top could go a long way for the character. I know Disney's got a cartoon that has a little.
My kids have watched it. It's the Green Kid.
Is it?
Yeah, it's Cliff Secord's granddaughter. She's the new Rocketeer. Because I'm always trying to find a way. It's like, look, this is important. Like, just watch this. It relates to what I like. And
exactly.
So,
I didn't know they made a Rocketeer cartoon.
Disney Plus.
I didn't either.
And so, it's a new Rocketeer. Actually, look, she's a female. It's a Rocketeer. It's the same. No, I'm not interested. I don't watch that.
That sounds fun.
It's definitely made for a younger audience.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah. But that would be a great character that you could do a lot with. I think Dick Tracy would be a lot of fun in today's world. I've just those atomic age heroes. You could really pick any of them and have fun with them. I really enjoyed the what was the idea or Dynamite did the Project Superpowers a couple years back. It's been maybe 10 or 15 now, but that was a great run.
The Shadow earlier. I think that would be fun to redo because I always thought Alec Baldwin was miscast. He didn't deserve that role. Like the same thing with the Phantom. Like Billy Zane could have been. They could have gotten somebody a little bit better,
right? Or even the Spirit. That movie was just so askew from what it should have been.
There was a movie Liam Neeson was in where he was burned. Like I can't remember his name.
Dark Man.
Yeah, that was a great movie, and I couldn't imagine getting to watch that again, like a redo of that. That'd be really cool too.
Yeah. It'd be hard to see that in the way they did it. It was a dark movie for the 90s.
And Sam Raimi, people don't realize he can be really dark.
Oh yeah.
I just watched The Evil Dead the other day. It's pretty crazy.
Last week, I love the first one. It's so much darker than people think. It's really good. And I love Sam Raimi, but that's a whole nother thing. And but let's talk about horror too. So you're obviously a big horror guy. What horror speaks to you?
Actually, the first episode of season 2 we're going to do on Jarhead Basement is we're going to review Reanimator, which is my favorite
Jeffrey Combs
of all time.
Nice.
Favorite series would be the Halloween series, which makes very little sense unless you've watched all of them 100,000 times, and even then, it's still hard to piece it together. But there's not much from horror that I haven't enjoyed.
No, but are you a fan of The Thing?
Oh, of course.
Okay, man.
And the original, not the Mary Elizabeth Winstead version.
What's that?
I said the original, not the Mary Elizabeth Winstead version.
Yeah, but even that one's good. It gets more hate than it deserves. That one's a really good prequel.
I don't hate it. I just I want Kurt Russell.
Exactly.
As McCready.
The comic series was good. The one that immediately picked up after. Did you read that? It was 2 issues.
I didn't, if I'm honest.
Well, it was a direct sequel written by John Carpenter from The Thing movie.
Okay.
So it picks up with McCready and Child still alive.
Okay.
And there's a team that shows up to rescue them. Really, really cool book.
Definitely
Kenny. But if you're a fan of that, I'm also a big fan. I don't know if you are. The Fog. The John Carpenter The Fog.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I have to say the remake with Tom Welling is one of my guilty pleasures.
I don't hate it. There's something about the cast of the original that I just really enjoy.
Oh, yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis. It's fair. Yeah.
And it's not even really a bloody movie. It's all ambiance that drives it.
Yeah.
It's just atmosphere.
Atmosphere.
Yeah. I'm a little younger, but the remake there is one of my favorite like guilty pleasure horror movies that I will watch over and over.
Now, does young Skarsgård like any horror? Is she into R.L. Stein or any of that? Is she following in her dad's footsteps, or are you trying to prevent that from the horror side?
She has snuck. She watched when she was way too young. I think she was 6 or 7. She watched Ghost Ship without me knowing.
Ghost Ship, I love it. Now, talk about a guilty pleasure movie. Definitely not what Skarsgård though.
She loved it though. She will dip her toes in the horror pond every so often. We recently have started watching the Friday the 13th with Dad running the control, so I can fast forward through some of the more explicit parts.
Well, and that's what holds me back with my kid. I don't mind. Yeah. He doesn't care about the horror. The horror doesn't shock him. He's seen the thing about a couple dozen times now because I'm always watching it every week.
Right.
But you don't have to worry about that in the thing, right?
Right.
And but it's hard to put something else on. Like there, even Ghost Ship has that one scene with the poor dude, and with the singer.
Yeah. Exactly.
That opening sequence is one of the great opening sequences in a horror movie.
Oh yeah. And that was the one thing that stuck with her from it that we talked about, and that's when we started talking about how movies were made, and I was looking up stuff on YouTube to show her, like, look, this is the behind the scenes, like it didn't actually happen, it was green screen and this and that, and
that's the same.
She was all in.
That's the same thing I did with my kid, right? Once you know that something's just a production, it takes all the out of it,
Right. Yeah. Once you know how the hot dog is made, you don't want to eat the hot dog any longer.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And well, no, that's just an actor. Look, here's 8 other movies they were in. Here's a new one they got coming out. Nothing happened to them.
Exactly. My kids love the the old Universal monsters. So every Halloween we watch Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. The Creature from the Black Lagoon is a must. We watch every year. All those old great movies, and then we just kind of work our way forward a little by little every year to let them get exposure without having the nightmares.
Have you shown them Monster Squad?
Oh,
come on.
Monster Squad.
If I had it.
I had to ask. Like that's like my kids can barely. So my oldest is 8, my middle is 5, my youngest is 1, and so we can barely get through the Goonies.
Yeah,
because like they just don't. It's not like it's scary or anything. They just don't hold that attention.
Right.
And so like we're watching it, and like my best friend, he was we met at Southcom. He is living in Washington State, Air Force veteran. He got married on the beach. The Goonies, like all the cars went across, and so we went and did all the sites in Astoria. And so we show my daughter, like, you did the truffle shuffle right here, and she's like, I don't care,
Yeah, whatever that.
But we haven't made it to Monster Squad yet. Like they're not ready for that, and I can't wait to show them that movie.
So if my son's birthday is in October,
man's got nards.
Yeah, like bogus.
My son's birthday is in October, so he is deep into Halloween already. And last year was the first year we showed him Monster Squad, and he ran around screaming, "I kicked Mustard! Werewolf in the Nards!" Like, it's not even the line, buddy.
That's great.
But a really good Creature from the Black Lagoon movie with today's technology, because I love the original Creature from the Black Lagoon. There's some of those black and white ones I absolutely love, and and I just love them for the time capsule they are of horror too. Just
exactly, yeah.
And even back then, when you watch something like the Creature from the Black Lagoon, I can't talk. The cinematography in that, especially the underwater work, is amazing.
Agreed.
Like, how did they do it back then with what they had? But
it's magic.
Yeah, mind-boggling. Or the old Invisible Man, how they made Claude Rains disappear, and it still blows me away because so much more talented than I ever would be.
Have you been like keeping track of Rob Zombie's The Munsters?
So I found out about that. I don't know. I think when the news broke with everybody else, I haven't been following it intently, but I'm interested to see what he's going to do. I really hope he doesn't try to make it a Rob Zombie movie, because the Munsters were perfect the way they were, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Same with Sam. I think is it Sam Raimi that's doing the Addams Family?
I didn't know
Or
about
Tim
that.
Burton.
Well, I didn't hear that.
I think
It's either Sam Raimi or Tim Burton they're going to do a Addams Family remake, and there's a very fine line of what I would accept.
Yeah, I hope it's not Tim Burton, because I just totally fell out of favor with him at Dark Shadows, and I have hated Tim Burton since then. Like, he destroyed Dark Shadows for me. Like, he just fucked that all up. Sorry.
Well, and the thing with Sam Raimi and Tim Burton is they walk that fine line, right?
Exactly.
Sometimes they go a little too zany with the material, and it takes it away from the feel of what it's supposed to be.
Right. And look, I've got Nightmare Before Christmas tattooed on my arm, and I loved Tim Burton, and now I have to force myself through some of his movies because the Alice in Wonderlands, it just lost me.
Yeah, because Johnny Depp, he looked like Madonna, and I don't want to watch that in that movie.
Exactly.
See, now in the 80s movies were funny too, because none of those 80s movies would exist without bad parenting. Look at all the 80s movies. The Goonies, the parents had no idea what their kids were doing.
Yeah.
E.T. Mom, we said something was outside. Oh, it's probably just a wolf, and then leaves their kids alone.
I know.
Let them go play with a wolf?
Yeah, I know.
Monster Squad, hanging out with a bunch of monsters in Frankenstein. Just all those movies.
Seriously. So I was in counterterrorism, and I apologize to my kids all the time because I'm not a helicopter parent, but like I watch them, and I only let them outside if I can watch them. Like, I am going to make sure none of the other parents in the neighborhood are so obsessed with making sure their kids are safe, but I'm going to make sure that, because like I know that like it can be very, very bad, and kids get abducted all the time. It's like, it's one of those things that I just don't understand how some people, but I'm on the other side of the curtain, and I hate to ruin my kids' childhood, but I can't help it. I just want to make sure that they're safe all the time. And
my kids are always within eyesight of me, or especially, when we go out, my kid's always right here.
Yeah.
I turned my kids into prison bitches. I made them hold my pockets when they were young, when we were walking through the parking lots. But I get where you're coming from, and I think it's because we grew up in the 80s, and we saw.
We did everything.
Yeah. My brother and I skipped school and hid in hay bales as the buses would pass, and then we'd stay in the hay bales and play X-Men all day. And then come home when as soon as the bus drove back off in the afternoon. But I'm the same way. I don't let my kids outside without me being physically able to watch them, or my wife. But the neighborhood parents, all their kids congregate in my yard, which I don't care, but it's always just me or just my wife and like 12 kids.
I hate that. Same here.
Come on, where you guys at?
Exactly. Where are the other parents? Like, for real. They don't care. They just don't know,
And I'll be the first parent to say, like, look, I hate kids. Get your kids out of my yard. I like my kids. I barely like my kids. Take your kids home. No.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, man, I swear to God, that's hilarious.
We're a little over an hour. We'll start wrapping it up in a second. But I want to ask you where your collecting journey is leading you next.
I don't know. I've actually just started, and I blame Jimmy Don for this. He sent me my first graded book when I won that contest, and I've actually started grading a lot of my older or more rare books. So it's kind of where I've started going. Other than that, it's buying books like Airboy and Space Ghost and the original Addams Family run from Gold Key, things like that.
And slabs are a slippery slope because I didn't own a slab in 2019. I now have over 40 of them.
Exactly.
And I got 7 more out as we're talking right now.
I literally just dropped 3 books off with Chet at Rhino's on Wednesday to have graded. One of which was first appearance of Evil Ernie and Lady Death.
Nice. So, good book.
Yeah. So it is a slippery slope.
All right, so let's start our final questions here. We'll start with you, Kenny, then you, Chip, and then I'll ask mine, and then we'll start the goodbyes.
All right. Well, I actually have tons of questions left, but that's good because that gives me and you something to talk about later on, Kel, because I've had a lot of fun tonight. You're
best
awesome.
Friend.
Yeah, seriously. I will definitely be in touch with you later on. I'm going to go musical because my big question, how in God's name did you wind up in New York? But I'll just skip that. We've talked a little bit about music. What do you listen to now?
I still listen to basically everything, and I blame my time in the military for it because I got exposed to culture that I would have never gotten exposed to in my small town in Texas. So I got exposed. My MOS was in North Carolina, Jacksonville, North Carolina, right as P.D. Pablo was at the top of his fame. And it exposed me to rap in a way that I really hadn't been exposed to. Of course, I grew up in North Texas, so country is just kind of bred into a Texan. You have to listen to country on some level. But I still listen to metal, and I went down the emo screamo hole in the early 2000s because I was in I was in San Diego for my first couple years in the service, and I got to see the Used before they were huge. I got to see My Chemical Romance before anybody knew about them. But yeah, last show I went to was Ghost right before the pandemic hit, and I fell in love with the Scooby-Doo rock of Ghost.
It's awesome. Thanks.
Nice.
Yeah, but I completely understand. I was I remember 50 Cent's You Find Me in the Club with a Pocket Full of Blood. I can't remember the name of that song, but 50 Cent just got really big when I was in basic. Yeah. And so it was wow, Eminem discovered this guy, his name's 50, So, but yeah, and I never listened to rap. I mean, Alabama, it was all about country background. I listened to country as a kid, and then I was like, wow, there's Metallica and there's heavy metal, and then I got really big into the Lamb of God and stuff like that. But the military will absolutely do that.
Yeah.
So it's a great fondue of culture.
I think honestly everybody should experience it. It was the best thing I ever did with myself, and I think it can help so much for so many people to bring us all closer. So,
Well, I mean, on this show tonight, we brought the Army and the Marine together. So there we go. We're already changing the world here.
Yeah, right.
That's a hard sell.
Not as hard as the Air Force and the Marines.
Right?
Come on.
The Chair Force? Is that what you said?
Yeah, there you go. The Chair Force. Exactly.
Okay, this will be my last story. I swear to God, the last story. I'm in Korea. We get a truckload of furniture, and it's wow, this is really nice furniture. That chair only has one rip in it. This is great. So they bring it. Where's all this stuff coming from? It's this is the Air Force's shit that they are throwing away, and they're letting the Army have it. So we got all this great new furniture because my chair had 65 rips in it. I'm that's so awesome. This chair only has one rip in it.
Exactly. And then you guys would pass down your destroyed stuff to us Marines, and we'd be elated.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that they shipped like that back and forth to each other.
Yeah, it's.
Oh, the government's going to get their dollar out of everything. So
yeah, it's all about capitalism, man. You got to wring everything out of that dollar you can.
For it. They way overpay for it, so they got to get their use out.
That's right. $1,200 for a toilet seat. Let's go.
Exactly.
So, Mr. Gettler, your last question, sir?
So my question for you is, where do you see your YouTube channel going next?
Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah, that's why I asked it, of course.
Yeah.
Come on now.
I expect nothing less from the great Chip Gettler. To be honest, I took a break there for a little bit, and I've just started kind of reapproaching it. I've noticed for myself, my Magic videos do exceedingly well, and there's a great community of Magic players out there commenting and telling me how I mispronounce all the card names. And I blame my Texas education for that. But honestly, I'll probably just keep doing exactly what I'm doing because that's what I enjoy. Showing off my books, talking with my kids, opening some Magic cards. Going to do the Jarhead Basement Season 2. Hopefully that goes well and we'll have a Season 3. And see what happens. I just enjoy being able to connect with people, whether it's you guys or my kids or my military buddies talking about bad movies. So
it's one of the things I like most, just in meeting with you today earlier, talking about the reason you've started this whole YouTube thing was to document this for your kids for the future,
Exactly.
So
yeah.
They can kind of understand,
Yeah, exactly. And
about you. Yeah.
One day when I'm old and gray or not here or whatever, they can go back and watch these videos and be like, Dad was a nerd.
Yeah.
But that's all right. And hopefully they,
And that's one of the things I always like about people that are on YouTube, especially Gary, you're the same way. Anytime I see Xavier on, I'm just like, oh, we need more Xavier, we need more X, we need more X, because I enjoy the interaction between the parents and the kids and seeing the kids light up and get excited about whatever you're involved in, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah, because X going to bring it to you.
Yeah. Definitely. That's it. That's all I had.
All right. So mine, it's been the same lately because I'm just curious about what people would choose. So if you could have a Stanley style cameo in any modern or movie dealing with superheroes, or have one made of your choice that you would have a Stanley type cameo in, what would it be?
Ooh. Have a movie made.
And you come in with like a little Stanley type cameo where you're in there for like 20 seconds.
This package is for Tony Stank. Tony Stank.
Tony Stank. Yeah. I'd like to be the security guard that's guarding Tony Stark's equipment when the Hobgoblin found it. Or not Tony Stark's, Green Goblin's equipment when Hobgoblin found it and became the Hobgoblin.
There you go. So Hobgoblin's a favorite villain?
Yes, Hobgoblin is very much my favorite villain. I don't know if you guys saw, I did a little cross promotion with Drawing Conversation, Danny.
Oh, wow.
And we talked about the origin of the Hobgoblin. He's very much my favorite Marvel villain.
What about Demogoblin?
Well, it ties directly into the Hobgoblin.
I thought Demogoblin was cool, but
yeah,
a little one note, but what a fun character design. But I think there's a lot of people out there that like Hobgoblin more than Green Goblin.
Yeah, there's definitely two camps there. Who knows? And with Moon Knight and Hobgoblin have a pretty good back history too. So who knows? Maybe we'll get lucky and he can show up in the show.
Oh. How awesome would that be?
I would be very happy.
Wow. All right, gents. Cale, thank you so much for coming on. Kenny, let's start the goodbyes with you.
All right. Well, coming up next, my next video, which is the last one I recorded back in June. It is a video about the differences between Kenner names versus Lucasfilm names on Kenner Star Wars toys. So while you may have like Snaggletooth versus what his actual name is, it's been so long since I recorded this video, I don't actually remember the Lucasfilm names, but they're all completely different. Like, because the toys I grew up with, like, this is Walrus Face and this is Snaggletooth. And so there are actually like real names for these characters that I will never remember because, that destroys my childhood. Other than that, the week after that will be my first new video, and it's gonna basically be a giveaway extravaganza. I have a lot of stuff to catch up on. There's gonna be my 400 subscriber giveaway plus the August giveaway, and then who knows what from there. But I have a lot of good stuff, and it's all from Jimmy from Smalltown Collectibles. Other than that, eventually I will start doing Friday Fun again. That's something I have done for weeks and weeks and weeks that all stopped because I had to stop for school. My Friday Fun was every Friday I would put a song on YouTube, and you got the chance to name that song anywhere from Randy Rhoads up into the Beatles. So plenty of different things to look at. But that's pretty much it for me. I'm Kenny Caps from Caps on Comics. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.
Good.
Mr. Gettler?
Good. So for me, I'm going to be tomorrow in the morning time. We always do a community channel, just kind of sitting around on the Legion of Comics YouTube channel. Everybody's invited, just kind of sit around, chat. And then Saturdays, I usually host a banter session. We start at 7 p.m. Central and go until it's lasted sometimes till 9. It's lasted sometimes till 3 o'clock in the morning. And I'm sitting there telling the guys, I'm going to bed. You all keep on my channel. I'm out of here. And it's just kind of just sitting around. Everybody's invited. Jump on cam, whether you're on mic, off mic, on cam, off cam. It doesn't matter. You know, just a chance to kind of sit around and shoot the shit and hang out and have fun.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, like a couple of times. And it's so much fun.
Yeah, it really has been a great time just kind of hanging out and just socializing. And we talk about anything and everything, not even just comics. I mean, it could be weather 1 minute and you're talking about coffee the next and stuff like that. So it's pretty interesting. And then after that, I'm going to be doing a couple of new videos coming out probably early next week. I want to do some. I've been slowly getting into the Star Wars Bandai comics and trying to models. So I'm kind of going to be doing a couple of videos on that and putting them together and talking about my newest addiction thanks to Chamorro Cinema and 6-inch Black Series Star Wars figures. So,
yeah, I like Chamorro's little figures there. His videos are fun.
It's all his fault. He is the worst person in the world. I'm into these damn things now, and my wife's ready to kill them. And hey, what the hell? So, nice. But that's it. That's for me, man. Until happy hunting, everyone.
Yeah, tomorrow I'm going to be on Anachrona Comics show for about 10 minutes. He's got his subscriber giveaway going, so he's got a bunch of different guests. You'll see Rob Fatstacks on it. You'll see me on it. You'll see Slotted Up 503 on it. A couple other of his buddies. We're all going to jump on there to help celebrate Joe. And Saturday we'll have another Savage Saturday comic review where I'll pick another Conan or Red Sonja book and review that up for the channel. Sunday probably get another shout out video out. And lots of good stuff. We got in the future. I'm working on hopefully getting a pretty good name on the show of a writer. I don't want to say the name in case it falls through, but they reached out to me today and I got to email them back. So that's really nice. Someone I am a fan of. And we also, coming up in September, guys, we're going to have Jerry the Jitterbug on here. First time face reveal. And I can tell you that every single one of us that have anything to do with this channel and this show here, we are all fans of Jerry the Jitterbug.
Yep. I love the guy.
I'm going to sell the guest spots that night and make a little bit of money. Highest bidder gets to come on the show.
I bid $1,000.
So,
I mean, I'm telling you, if I'm serious. If I am not on that Jerry the Jitterbug show, I'm going to be seriously hurt.
Hey, the mic works.
And I was laughing about Rob's comment about getting Chip a microphone.
I was sitting far back. I'm sorry, guys. I totally forgot. I was pulled back from the mic.
He's a little whisperer.
Well,
But yeah, Joe. So check out Anachrona Comics tomorrow night for his special. Just a lot of good stuff. And like I said, I can't wait to have. I can read at least $5. Well, I'll give you $5, Jerry, but they're going to pay me more to vie to be on here to talk to you. Maybe some blood. We'll see. I might make them pit fight each other.
Yeah, we were talking about John Wick earlier. We'll do blood tokens.
I don't know. Kale's the guest will undecided. Should they mud wrestle in banana hammocks or Jello wrestle in Speedos?
I got to go with the Jello.
All right.
Yeah, it's easier to clean off. Everybody knows that. I mean, shit.
But you got to start with an Indian leg wrestle. Good measure.
Jimmy, Chip, and Nick's Kicks and Comics and Kenny all wrestling to be the guest host.
Yeah.
Do that make you
I fight dirty, so beware. I'm gonna win. You can't beat me.
But we got lots of good stuff coming, guys. Kale, thank you so much for being on the show, buddy. I was so happy that you agreed to come on this week.
Yeah, this is
I hadn't run into you at the comic shop in a while, so I was super excited to be able to talk to you tonight and have a little time. I hope you had fun.
I definitely did. Thank you so much for asking me. Got me out of my rut of sitting in the basement and sorting through magic cards and comic books. And it's been great to get to know Chip and Kenny. Great guys. I'm so happy to have got to meet you.
Not at all.
Yeah, same.
So,
hey, that's what it's about. This channel, this show is exposing people to someone they may not have known before.
Well, you don't want me exposing myself.
Yeah. Well,
Wouldn't be the first time on a channel it's happened.
But guys, that's the show for tonight. I want to thank each and every single one of you in the audience that stuck with us and watched the whole thing. Thank you. For those of you who catch it on the rewind, please go check out Geekspot's channel. Awesome dude, awesome family. You're going to have a lot of fun. And until next time, guys, I'm going to sign off by saying keep it casual. And then we're going to take it over to Kale himself to sign us out for good.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for stopping by and getting to know me a little better, as if I don't talk about myself enough. But as for me in the future, we've got Jarhead Basement Season 2 coming in September. We're definitely going to be talking about Reanimator. We've got a couple other movies lined up we want to talk about. We have some movies we want to rip apart, which is not something that we typically do. And we got some sketches that we've got lined up. So it's going to be an exciting season. As for the Geekspot channel, I got to wrangle some kids and get them down here and have them shoot some videos with me so you guys can see how big they've gotten in the last couple months. And again, Gary, thank you so much for everything you do for me, for the community, all of us, from your Grow Together challenge to this. It's greatly appreciated, man. You're a fantastic person, and I'm happy to count you among my friends. And Chip and Kenny, again, it's been great getting to know you guys. Thank you for hanging out.
Getting to know you.
And thanks for stopping by, everybody. Make sure you tune in for the next one.
All right. Awesome. All right, guys, here we go. Thank you, everyone. Keep it casual. Awkward ending.